Alright, so I know you saw the title of the video and you thought to yourself, huh? What? Yeah, I thought the same thing when I saw this on the internet, and I have to try it for myself. So we're going to be boiling bacon. Apparently this is the best way to cook bacon. We're going to find out. So what I have here is some thick cut bacon. I'm going to put it in the pan, I'm going to turn on the heat, and we're going to add some water. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I put bacon in the pan. Again, I have some thick cut bacon here. So before I turn on the heat and get this thing going, let me explain this a little bit. So the first thought is, well, there's no way you can have perfect crispy bacon if you boil it because it'll just be a sopping wet mess. But the idea here is that when you pan fry bacon, a lot of times the meat cooks before the fat renders down, right? So you don't want chewy, fatty bacon. I mean, some people do. There's all kinds of preference when it comes to bacon. But if you actually want it, cooked properly, you have to use very low heat so that the fat renders down and gets nice and soft before the meat starts to cook fully. With this method, which makes sense, this is why I'm trying this, because it actually does make sense. By pouring water in here and boiling the bacon, what you're doing is you're allowing that fat to cook down before the water evaporates. When the water completely evaporates, now we're back to square one, where you're just cooking it in the pan. So what you're doing is you're buying time so the meat and fat can cook at the same time. So we're going to see if that actually works here. Alright, so I'm going to put my pan on medium-high, and we're going to pour in water. Just enough to cover the bacon. And there it is. So we have probably, I don't know, a quarter to a half inch of water, and we're just going to let this boil. We'll see what happens. On a side note, I just set the stopwatch as well because I'm curious how long this process is going to take. Alright, a little over 3 minutes, and you can see we are almost at a full boil here. It's actually pushing the bacon around a little bit from the bubbling action. But we'll see. We'll just let this keep going until all the water's gone. We'll take a look at the bacon. It might need to be flipped once the water's gone. But it's interesting. Curious how this comes out. Alright, so that's still boiling away over there. Alright, we're about 8.5 minutes right now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cook the rest of this bacon in the oven, 400 degrees, for about 15 to 20 minutes. That's how I prefer cooking bacon more times than not, because it renders all the fat. We get nice and crispy pieces of meat, but the fat just melts away in your mouth. It's, to me, perfect bacon. Obviously, some people like it really floppy and chewy. Some people like it super, super crispy, but that is kind of in the middle ground for me. All right, it's a little bit of both. But anyway, we're going to pop this in the oven, so this way when the boiled bacon is done, I can compare it. Okay, so we hit the 11-minute mark. The water is pretty much gone, so now it's basically just pan frying the bacon. We'll see how it comes out. Alright, passing the 15-minute mark. This is when my oven bacon would normally be done. And I flipped them over once about 2 or 3 minutes ago. So you can see they're starting to brown up. There's definitely like some white kind of film. It's, I guess, when we boil the fat, it just looks a little white, almost like a pork chop. If you ever, pan fry some pork chops. But yeah, I mean, it's browning up like regular bacon now. So when it's all done, I'll take it off, let it drain on, plate with some paper towels here. And we'll wait for the bacon to come out of the oven and we'll do a comparison. Alright, there's the 17-minute mark. These look like they're completely done now. So I'm going to take these off. Again, let these drain. Alright, so it's not extra greasy. And what I'm going to do is the bacon that's in the oven, I'm going to let go for exactly 17 minutes as well, just so they cook the same amount of time. And we're going to see if the boiling bacon method worked better than inside the oven. Alright, so I'll be back when the oven bacon's done. Oh yeah. Look at that oven bacon. That's the way to do it right there, folks. Just sizzling in its own little fatty juices. Exhibit A, boiled bacon, which is definitely cooked. Doesn't look horrible or anything. And then we have oven bacon, which definitely just, I don't know, looks a little nicer. Both cooked for 17 minutes. Let's go ahead and do a little taste test here. Alright, so first the staple, what I'm used to here, is the oven bacon. And this guy is still pretty hot. Actually, I need a little paper towel here. Alright, make sure this guy is drained. Yeah, it's still pretty hot out of the oven there. Alright, so this bacon, the fat on it, it's completely rendered. It's not super crispy, it's not super chewy, it's just like right there in between, mostly meat. Let's go ahead and give this a try here. Let's go with this piece. Oh yeah. Delicious, delicious bacon. All right, so now the true test. How is this boiled bacon here? All right, let's break a piece off the ends. Make sure I just kind of drain a little bit here. Don't want any extra fat or anything. It's not as hot. All right, so consistency, a little crispier for sure. Let's go ahead and let's give this piece a taste. Well, I can say that this piece is a little bit overdone. It's just the meat part is a little bit extra chewy, and it seems kind of dry. I'm actually going to grab this piece on the end, all right, because this has the fat on it. I'm curious how this fat cooked by being boiled first. All right, so let's try that piece. Yeah, no. I'm actually spitting this out. That fat is not rendered down. It's too chewy. If you happen to like really floppy, really underdone bacon, yeah, that's fine. But I'm not one of those people. So the fat did not render down like it was supposed to with the internet magic boiled bacon. All right, so this is definitely one of those times where the internet failed me. It is not the first time I saw some BS on the internet. It was some dude, and he made this quick little video. It was probably originally a TikTok video. I don't go on TikTok, but I run across a ton of those videos on Facebook and Instagram and stuff all the time. But I was convinced, because the idea of cooking the fat, you know, before the bacon meat gets to cook, I mean, it made sense to me. But in actual execution, it did not work. There's many variables. Maybe if I use less water or something, but I don't know. It's just the meat itself is a little bit too tough and chewy, and the fat is not rendered. All right, compared to the exact same time in the oven, and this bacon is absolutely perfect. It's greasy, it's crispy, but it still bends, you know, it's not overly done or anything like that. Wonderful bacon. Cook it in the oven whenever you can. So that's it for this one, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I'll see you tomorrow with a brand new video. Take care.